welcome to A Work in Progress with your favorite girl of all time, Liana Shipwata. And today I'm joined by my friend. It's so lovely to be able to sit and, talk to my friend, because every single day we sit and have random conversations, but I want people to hear and see what a brilliant person he is. He's worked on many productions. He's a videographer, also talented, the one, the only Sergio.
What's up, bro?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm just, it's kind of odd to be on this side
yes,
of the camera.
I was going to ask, how does it feel to be on this side? You're usually on the back side of things.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, what can we say? We're already here. Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about Sergio starting off in the creative industry.
I think for me, starting off I think it was a thing of I was more raised into it.
Okay.
Yeah, my mom loves TikTok. Like before there was TikTok, she loved Facebook, and then now she loves TikTok. So like, she's always making videos, and then my dad also, like, since he's a civil engineer, he's always taking pictures of the projects he's working on. So we always had cameras lying around.
Okay.
So then eventually I picked up the camera and I started taking pictures of myself with the iPhone. And that time Instagram just came out, back when it was blue and stuff, blue and white. And I started doing like photo shoots of myself around the house and stuff, and like adding effects, just playing on what PixArt.
Okay.
Yeah, and the Retrika,
Yes.
Then, that's how I got to like pictures, videos and stuff. I started making skits back in the days. And then, now it progressed into like now shooting pictures. So I told my parents, like when I was in the north, to say that, no, I want a camera. And my idea with the camera was that I just wanted to shoot pictures just of myself.
Yeah.
Or like for my clothing brand. So I was like, it's fine. And then they got me a camera. It's a simple Canon, 800D. Okay. But it was a nice camera, and that's pretty much like when 2017. And I started taking the camera around, bro.
Yeah.
I went to like Benny's Park. I'd go with my homie Brian and would like shoot pictures for people, like 5 pictures for $20, stuff like that. That time when like
you were those guys that had Zoo Park, right?
Yeah. It's literally, bro, because there were guys there already shooting, and I was like, I can also charge people to take pictures. So I was like, okay, if I do 5 pictures for $20, and if I shoot like 20 pictures, that would be at least like what, $80-100. So I was like, it's fine. And we'd go there in some afternoons, like on the weekends, make like a 300, then go buy pizza.
Yeah. Okay.
The time of our lives now after, and it was fun. And I feel like it slowly kept progressing. That's why I say I don't have a start, or not a start per se, but I don't have like an abrupt start. It's something that just grew over time.
And then you just fell in love with it, and the passion grew over time. Now, is that where you decided, you know what, I want to treat this like an actual business and move into where you are now, where you are filming big productions? You're always on these different, if it's not right now, I think you're busy with the hydrogen, green hydrogen summit. You're doing all of these things. How does it feel to be in these big rooms?
It feels overwhelming, I'll be honest. But I feel like, as with any room you get into, you should be able to understand why you were put there.
Yeah.
So I think that's what helps me to understand that there's something of value that I am providing that has put me in this place. So I cannot feel shy of it, or feel overwhelmed so much, because I was supposed to be in this room.
Okay.
You check. So already by looking at things like that, it's helped a lot, because for me to take it as a business, I had a mentor.
Okay.
And that's like literally what I tell everybody. Get a mentor, get someone you can listen to. Someone who is already doing
what
or living. It's easier to look at someone who's living their life. You see a guy driving a nice car, or a lady driving a nice car, having a nice apartment, but then you look at what they have instead of actually asking them, like, how did you get that?
Yes.
So then around like 19, I got a mentor, and I studied IT.
Okay.
And that time I was studying IT, which is completely away from the media space. And he was in the IT field, and like through that mentorship now, and learning how a business runs, how to run around for clients, how to Zula, how to make do with nothing. I learned a lot of techniques and lessons from him. And then it progressed as I got like a different mentor. At every other stage of my life, I always had a different mentor for different things. So I think in that whole aspect, they taught me how to run a business. Now it was up to me now to be like, okay, this guy is running an IT business. This one is running an events business. This one's running that business. But no one's running the business that I want to run. Yeah. How am I going to do it? But then the crazy thing is that they are all very similar. We're all selling something and someone is buying something. So from that experience, I quickly transitioned from being just a shooter to now running a business and trying to like get clients and hustle for opportunities. So I feel like just after that lesson and after all those people, I think it really benefited me a lot. The transition was so easy.
Yeah, but I feel like in the beginning, in order for your self-confidence to have grown and for you to be able to even say, oh, I need to go out and look for a mentor, or to be able to be so steadfast in the rooms that you are in and know that you are meant to be there, it had to be from your upbringing. How was it with your parents growing up with your self-confidence and stuff? I
feel like, hey, if anybody knows me, my mom is very confident. Like the most confident person in the room is my mother. And I feel like if there's one thing she passed on to me is like her charisma, you know. And by virtue of that, my dad is very serious. He's a very serious person, but in serious situation, he knows how to compose himself, you see. And I think that's another thing that God passed on to me. But in that environment, they were always outspoken. You know, my parents always encouraged us to speak our mind, say the truth, and live a life that you don't have to hide anything. Because early on, like, they would tell us, like, you know, if you lie to us, like, eventually it's gonna catch up, like it's gonna show. So then now you look at that and then you grow up and you see that there's a lot of situations where you could have came out better, but because you tried to be skellum and sneaky, dodge and the truth still comes out. So like, that made us outspoken because I now live, what you see is what you get. And it's easier that way.
100%. Now you grew up in a mixed family. Your father is black, your mother is Cuban. What was that upbringing like? It's two different cultures.
It's wild, bro. Because on one side you get beaten in Spanish and on the other side you get shouted at in Shona. So like, it was fun. I appreciate the whole experience because it's two different cultures. One is more introverted. One is super extroverted. So like, I feel like I can be an introvert and extrovert at the same time. It just depends which culture I'm tapping into. If I'm going to be African, we are going to be our Africans. We are very hardworking. Very serious. But if I'm going to be Latino and all over the place and happy, that's also who I am. So like, I feel like the merge now of that is what gave us Sergio now.
Okay, that's very interesting. You know, we don't really have a lot of those kinds of mergers and mixed families. It's very beautiful to look at and see what type of children these people raise. Mixed cultures. It's also very hard to navigate because how do you find yourself? What do you identify as then?
Me? I just identify as myself, guys. There's nothing really, you know, in any situation you can be like, you are from this country or from that country, but then it's what you do with it. Because there are people who mention what country they are from, they are not even proud to be from that country. So I don't feel like we are tied to it. If you are mixed, bruh. You are just a mixture, just like all of us. You know?
Okay. And what is Sergio's life purpose?
Life purpose, I think that one is a very serious one. But I think for me, I'll say what makes me wake up every day. I personally believe I was not put here to play at all. I do have fun sometimes, but like I was put here for a greater cause. And that cause I feel was that for me, I do videography, right? I run a business, but in that other aspect, there's a lot of efforts I've made into like teaching entrepreneurship or being able to get people to feel inspired to do something. That's my mission. I want that when people see some of my work or they see some of the moves I make, I want it to be a thing where it's like, man, I know that guy, I chill with that guy. He's literally, he's a cool guy just like me. So like, why can't I do the same thing? And the more now, like of lately, I've met a lot of new people. And the common theme between all of them is that they have this insecurity, man, of like talking to people, seeking out opportunities, doing research.
Shooting their shot.
Like, when I look at that and I'm like, yeah, man, if only you knew that you were so smart.
Yeah.
And I always acknowledge people's attributes because at the end of the day, you can leverage someone else's intelligence, bruh.
Yeah.
And you guys can come up with the best idea. And a lot of, especially the young kids of this generation, like the guys that are younger than me, right? They have so many fire ideas. But then now, I came from a situation, I stayed in Obwedivamos for like, 6-7 years.
Yeah.
And in Obwediva, yes, you want to be the best videographer in Namibia. But it's hard, bruh. Because there's no gigs. Half the time you're shooting for a friend or a cousin and you're not even getting paid enough. And then you get an idea like, no, I want to shoot an ad for who, I want to shoot a podcast or what. It's difficult because in the north, it's just literally 4 or 5 streets at the time.
Yeah.
And there's maybe like 2 guest houses or something. And they're asking for money. That time you don't even have a camera to shoot anything. So like, when I look at that and I'm like, I used to walk around Obwediva with my camera bag and go to gigs and stuff.
Go
and
out there and search opportunities.
Yeah, walk to Element and go shoot, what's it called, MT's performance and then walk back home because I didn't have kept money and the client didn't pay me that day. He was going to pay me when I deliver the content.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So I look at everybody now and I'm like, no, man, my purpose now is to show people that it's very easy to do.
It can be done.
It can be done and like, there's no limitations to when you want to start.
Yes,
yeah, because
100%.
I personally started like very young already.
And you're actually still quite young. What don't you feel the pressures of doing all of these things and achieving all of these things at a very young age? What type of pressures do you go through?
I think the biggest one is I'm tired all the time. Yeah, genuine chat, like a guy's name, I don't sleep. It's just what happens. You are working from 6 in the morning, you're already getting calls for gigs that you're supposed to do that day. Not tomorrow, that day. You, after the gigs, you shoot, and then now you have to go edit. If you have an editor, now you have to go watch through the thing, make sure it's edited properly. When are we editing if we're shooting during the day? We're editing at night.
Yes.
So then now, once the work is finally done, that's when a person rests. But that's just one of the challenges. I think the other thing is complacency, man.
Okay.
It's not my challenge per se because to an extent, when I would see I was procrastinating or self-sabotaging, which is something that a lot of people do. If you know you're good at something, if you know you have an idea, I sat on my podcast for like years, bro.
Okay.
I wanted to have my own podcast. And I was watching Joe Rogan and stuff and I was like, yeah, those setups are crazy. Like I need mics, I need this, that. And you're always justifying that I don't have equipment or whatever. Now, when I started actually doing the thing now, what pushed me to do it was that I just felt like there's nothing like this anyway. And if I don't do it, I'm going to resent it later.
Yes.
You check. So looking at that now and actually executing that, it taught me that in this whole spectrum of things, you must execute.
Yeah.
If you don't execute or do the thing that you are thinking of, by next week, somebody is doing the same thing and is doing it way worse than you would have done it. But because they did it, they look like the ones that created the shani. But you've been knowing the whole thing the whole time.
It's true. And we actually had this conversation off camera earlier on. I was also just telling them about how I had an idea to produce a certain something, and then Sergio is coming to tell me that somebody is already like busy doing it right now. And I always feel like when God implants an idea in your mind, that time start working on it, start making phone calls if you have to make the phone calls, just start somewhere, because your idea can be given to somebody else. That's 100% true. Now, navigating this industry, you are not from Namibia. What were the challenges like in that aspect of things?
I think the biggest challenge is just communication, man. I don't speak
not even
Afrikaans.
that. You started in the north.
Yeah, I started with the Vambos.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. I can speak now nicely.
Okay.
You check.
Yeah.
But like, I started there and it was cool, man. You know one thing I like about the north? Everyone is just so receptive.
Okay.
Yeah. If you walk into a place and are like, yo, I have a podcast, or a show I want to shoot in your restaurant. Can you help me out, man?
Yeah.
They will say yes.
Okay.
Like, yeah, that here in Windhoek, it's more like you gotta pay
You
me,
have to
bruh.
pay. You have
So
to, yeah.
I think that's been pretty much of the challenge. Just being able to create new relationships with people.
Yeah.
Because people have their own perceptions of who you can be, and when they finally meet you, that's when they realize that, nah, man, like this is someone that I can actually work with. So it's not really been much of a challenge. It's just been enjoyable, because you're meeting absolutely different backgrounds every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially in Namibia with like 7-8 different cultures. Like it's different characters, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk a little bit about your podcast. Very excited about that.
Yeah.
How did you start your podcasting journey? What has it been like? Type of people you've met? Where are you now?
It's very personal the way the podcast started, guys.
Okay.
Yeah, I pretty much was in a tight spot with my parents at the time, and we had an argument, and then I decided that, nah, man, I'm going to run away from home. Then I ran away, bruh. Like I packed my shanies, I left. And then I was like, you know what? I'm running away. You know, and I was so hyped on motivation, man. I was so motivated that time. Like, I'm going to succeed, bruh. I'm going to conquer the world. So then I was like, nah, man, I'm going to start a business podcast. Okay. Because I knew a little bit, a fraction of business. But I loved it because it gave me a reason to live, man.
Yeah.
Because you know you're creating something that someone else is going to add value to or love so much that they pay you for it. And at the time, I left the house, and then now the next day, literally the day after I ran away from home, I had spoken to one of my homies, Tuli, and I was like, hey man, let's hop on a podcast. Let's just have a conversation, what. That time, I didn't even know how to shoot videos, guys.
Yeah.
I didn't even know how to edit, right? Cool. I remember I had podcast mics that I had from a friend. Okay. So I got them, I went to his house, we shot the podcast, and after that episode, and when it dropped, that's when I was like, man, this is actually like fire, because there was no one doing business or entrepreneurship content.
Yes.
And the person I was interviewing was pretty well known.
Yeah.
And the setup was simple. We literally had like, you know, the beer kegs. Yeah, we used the beer kegs as mic holders.
Okay.
And just like an old couch. And it looked nice, you know? So looking at that, it was just a simple thing, man. And I think it was just birthed out of desperation, bro. Because I thought I was going to make so much money from YouTube quickly.
Yeah.
And I was going to survive. I ended up becoming a videographer also because of that experience.
Yeah.
I ended up seeing that, I need bread in my pocket now. So I started shooting gigs. And one of the biggest gigs I did after that experience was I shot for a guest house in Enana.
Okay.
Right? I had to travel to Enana. I got some money. And it felt so nice, like, hey, I'm in a guest house, guys. And I'm here to shoot a video, you know.
Getting paid.
I'm getting paid now, so I'm like, yeah. That's when I started dreaming now, and I was like, okay, let's keep doing this. And now, with the podcast, also it gave me a lot of social proof, because people now know your face. People know that you're all about business. People know that you understand how a business runs, so they expect a certain professionalism from you. So now, I have situations where like I walk in the mall and I'll bump into people that are like, I know you from a podcast, bro. I watch your podcast. And I'm like, yeah. And now that you're meeting me in person, they're like, you're the same bro, Jake. I'm like, yeah, that's the situation, guys. Let's make money, you know?
Yeah, people love relatability.
Yeah.
And once you appear as yourself on whatever it is that you are doing, it speaks to a certain audience, and a group of people. Would you now also say it with your story? Would you advise people to start with what they have?
Start with what you don't have. That's what I'm saying. Like, guys, we all have ChatGPT.
Yeah.
We all have the one most useful tool on this planet, where you ask a question directly and you get an answer directly back. We never had. I wish I had that in varsity.
Yes.
I would have probably 10 degrees by now. Yes. But that's the situation. We have simple tools that you can start with. There's been situations, I'll give an example. I also have another show called The Dungeon Show, right? Okay. It's for artists to perform, right? That time I had a Canon 800D, simple camera, and the tripod. I didn't even have a light. And then I had my podcast mic, not even a recording mic. So I used to take the shandy, hang it on like another tripod, and then we used to shoot like live performances, shandies.
Oh, like a boom.
Yeah, like what can like a colors shandy, but outside. You check like from there's this other one called From the Block performance, and we just had the most simple equipment. Even if you go watch the episodes on YouTube, you can tell that this camera was a very simple camera, but we shot the content because we saw what other people were doing out there, and we're like, let's bring it to here. But I didn't have anything, bruh. And I didn't even have access to the artists. I don't even know how I got some of the artists on that show. At all. It was just a thing of like you bump into somebody or they come to perform in the North. And people in the North, that's why I say I love the North. They are so receptive. If an artist came to perform, people would quickly tell them like, yo, there's this show, hop on it, what. And then I would get a call like, hey, bruh, I'm in town. Let's do an episode. And even with the podcast was the same situation. I got ML on the podcast for episode 2. And we ended up doing it in like Ondangwa at some nice, and I think it's Nakahale or something. And it was amazing, bruh. And when I watched that episode, I'm like, this bro is so confident. I'm looking at myself, I'm like, this guy, he feels like he's Kanye West up in here. And if I felt like that time, why am I not gonna feel like that now? In fact, now I should feel even better about myself. So it's been a whole fun experience, man, with all of this content. All I can say is just start. Even if you don't have, just start, do your research, talk to the right people. You only get the things you need if you meet the right people, not if you buy the right things.
Yes. Now, how important would you say in this industry, and even just in the business industry, networking is? Very. You won't make a dime without a network. And recently I had a conversation with somebody and they were like, I like staying at home because I don't like talking to people. And I'm like, oh, okay. So how do you plan on like working in the media space if you're gonna be at home? And the person had no answer for me, and I'm like, okay, it's cool. And personally, what I like to do, I've met so many in the past week. I wish I was vlogging this stuff. But I meet creatives, right? Guys and girls, and they always ask me like, yo, bruh, I see you are always on set. Can I tag along? I'm like, yeah, it's cool. Just hit me up. I give them my number. And the reason I always give them my number, instead of taking theirs or constantly hitting them up, is on some, if they are serious, they will call me. And I've been in that situation where there are some who are serious. You check. And even my PA now, that's how I met her. She said she wanted to get in the media space. I gave her my number. She hit me up a year later. Now we've been working together for months now. And I always take new creatives to set. I always do that. So that you see, guys, how the pressure really is. How that you can't even mess up a shot once or twice. Maximum 3 times. Because there's no time. Right? We're given 2 hours to do this. We're given this. The pressure is real. Because when I look at like the guys coming out of College of the Arts, and I've experienced this a lot, I never went to school for media. I'm a proud YouTube university student. You check. The guys who go to College of the Arts and the experience in the field is very different, guys. Very different. So I say that, you really need to put in the effort to just learn and step out there and network with people so that you can build resources and get, anything you need. Right now, you can call anybody to set you up in any position quickly because you have met people. So it's just really important to network. Okay, so what's exciting that's coming up in Sergio's life? What should we be looking forward to? Guys, I'll be honest with you, this festive season is very busy. There's a project I'm working on. I can't really speak on it too much, but all I can say is that the idea is to make the world look at Namibia. So can't wait to show you guys. Yay! Thank you so much for joining us here on the show. Your story inspiring. I really hope any aspiring videographer or business person has listened to Sergio speak and thought to themselves, you know what? I want to be the next Sergio. Or in fact, I want to be better than Sergio. Be better. Yes, but thank you so much for joining me, my friend. I really hope you had a good time with us here. Amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, that was Sergio. My name is Sienna Shipweta. This is a work in progress. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. From myself and everybody here on set, it's bye.